I'm back here at the NRA National Firearms Museum, here at NRA headquarters, back with Logan Metesh. And Logan, got some cool stuff going on. Last week we just found out about the exhibit with Aaron Sabatini, told us about the steampunk exhibit. Really excited about that one.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we're going to be back out. We're going to look at more of that one. That sounds like a lot of fun. So let's get back to some of the firearms. You brought some neat stuff so far. Can we review Sammy Davis Jr.'s? Yes, the amazing firearm. And now I saw this off camera. I have no idea what it is, so I'm going to learn along with everyone else. What do you have here for us this week?
Well, this is a Smith & Wesson Model 2. And this is a 32 caliber rimfire design, and it was popular as a private purchase, personal protection piece during the Civil War. So some of the officers would carry a gun like this. About 40,000 of them were made before the surrender at Appomattox in April of 1865, and this is not one of them. This is a post-war piece, but again, it's the story that goes along with the gun that's the impressive thing on this. This was presented to William Tecumseh Sherman by his staff, and the back strap of the gun is actually engraved. It says, presented to General W.T. Sherman by officers of his personal staff, 1869.
Wow.
And you know, I mean, there's big names in the Union Army in the Civil War, and we've got Grant and Reynolds and other individuals, but Sherman, that is a name that to this day strikes fear in the heart of the South.
It does.
With his march to the sea.
Yeah.
And so this is a beautiful gun. It comes in a wonderful case that we have on display with it. The provenance is very good on this gun, and it's really neat to have a personal sidearm from a very interesting and charismatic Civil War general.
Very cool. So for those who don't understand, provenance, what does it mean?
Provenance is the history of the gun and how you can track who had it before and prove that a certain individual owned this piece.
Very important.
Absolutely. Otherwise, it's just a gun. You know, my cousin's brothers, uncles, friends, dog groomer said. You know?
Yeah, now that's engraved, which
It is
helps,
engraved.
but sometimes it's provenance. It's not an exact science. It's sometimes cobbling together leather here, a story there, a thing there.
Absolutely.
And even who had the firearm, if they have some sort of lineage, this person, it's always fascinating me looking about how you guys have to put all that together.
Absolutely. And you know, and you mentioned it's engraved, and so that helps, but you know, engraving can be faked. You know, you can put a new engraving on an old gun, and so one of the things you do with a piece like Sherman's gun here is that you have an expert individual who specializes in historic engraving look at it and verify that not only is it the right type for the period, but that it's been on the gun since 1869.
And sometimes even down to that, an expert like that, it's their best guess.
Absolutely, yes.
It comes down.
Nothing is airtight in this world. You know, death and taxes are the only two sure things, right? But we're pretty darn sure that this was one of Sherman's personal sidearms.
And once again, as in some of the other guns we've looked at in this series so far, a beautiful, elegant design.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous.
It's a really cool Smith & Wesson design. It's their second cartridge revolver that they made. Their first one was chambered in a little 22 short, which of course is a very small caliber. And so you step up to the 32, and that's a little bit more oomph for this gun. And it's still a tip-up design.
Right.
So the barrel hinges up here, and the cylinder slides out so that you can reload. You'd punch the empty cartridges out with the rod underneath there, and you put it back to reload, and then you're ready to go again. Also, a single action with a spur trigger.
Right, beautiful. How can folks come and see that firearm, Logan?
This is on display at the NRA National Firearms Museum just past our Civil War exhibit, because I mentioned it's not a Civil War gun, dates 1869, and so you can see it here at the museum 364 days a year.
And Logan, how about the other NRA museums?
We've got one in the middle of the country in Springfield, Missouri, the NRA National Sporting Arms Museum at the Bass Pro Shops headquarters. Got about 1,000 wonderful guns on display there. And if you're a West Coast individual, we've got the Frank Brownell Museum of the Southwest at the NRA Whittington Center in Raton, New Mexico. There's another couple hundred great guns on display out there. And if for some reason you can't make it to any three physical locations, you can find us online, nramuseums.com, and all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, you name it, we're there for you.
Logan, thank you so much for this wonderful firearm and for another great edition of the Curator's Corner.
Thanks for having me.